Welcome back, Washed Up Walkons fans, episode 170 something of the podcast. Kluver just told me, but then he said something else. I was thinking about the other thing that he said because he said that we can say whatever the fuck we want on this podcast, and I completely agreed with him. So I disregarded the number, and now I'm into my rambling. I want to tell you guys that we're off to a hot start today. I was up far before the sun on the mountain, taking my goddaughter for a hike. After this podcast is over, we're going to record another podcast. And then after that one's over, I'm taking her to the aquarium, to the zoo, and then to some Christmas light show. So I win uncle of the Christmas season award. Don't try and take it from me because I will just take it back from you tomorrow when I take her to Sedona on another hike. But that's neither here nor there. This is the Oil Spill Podcast. Welcome in.
It's a hell of an intro.
Dude, I just made that up off top.
That's rolling off the tongue. We got everybody back. All right. It's all three of us. This is the Washed Up Walk-Ons, episode 173. As Drake mentioned, I literally told him 3 seconds before, and then the way his brain works. See, the way
to be honest though, my mom told me that she wants me to go to the doctor, the memory doctor, because she's worried about my CTE.
Well, I mean, we
all are.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you're welcome to the club. Speaking of the club, you're wearing the Antisocial Social Club sweatshirt, which you are the commissioner of. You're the Kevin Warren of that club. Speaking of Kevin Warren, what an asshole. I mean, there's no news from Kevin Warren, but just what an asshole. We're going to get into, in this podcast specifically, we're going to talk championship weekend, what that looked like around the country. This is probably going to be a shorter podcast, 20 to 30 minutes. As Drake mentioned, we are going to record another podcast. We're putting in the work, Walk On Army. We're putting in the work, okay? Because guess what? I
actually intended to include Walk On Army in my intro too, so that's apologies.
That's all right. I got them. They're out there. By the way, shout out to Sam Wieskamp, who listens to the podcast. Joe's brother, he hit us up. I sent him a shirt. He's rocking the Walk On Army t-shirt in Carver. Even though it's just family, he's got the Walk On Army inside of Carver this year for the Hawks. We're going to get into the
Shout
Hawkeye.
out to the entire Wieskamp family, by the way, because Steve and Dana, great people. Older brother Matt, great human being. His wife, Emily, also a great human being. It just goes down the list. So shout out to the whole family.
You know who's a pretty decent human being and really good at basketball?
And a sniper.
Joey.
Dude,
Joey.
Don't get me started on Joe because he's the king. Luka's the king. Kev, mute your mic for Christ's sake.
Yeah, I don't know if he's shuffling cards or like.
I don't know what this guy does during the podcast because it clearly doesn't matter.
Kevin, I saw he's like burying a body or like stacking a bookshelf on top of another bookshelf inside of a dungeon with the ultimate echo. I don't know what the fuck he's doing, but
that actually is what I'm doing. I got my office furniture, so I've been kind of setting that shit up this morning.
Oh,
congratulations on the new office, bud.
Yeah. And he just doesn't say thank you. Oh, there we go. Anyway, we're going to get into Iowa basketball in a second, but let's just all take a quick second to be thankful. Okay. It's Sunday. It's the Lord's Day. If you're into that kind of thing, if you're not, hey, to each their own. And
well handled.
Right. And, Theo Vaughn would say something like, praise baby Jesus, praise the Lord.
Praise the Lord.
PTL.
PG and PTL, baby.
PG, PTL. I'm thankful today because, first of all, I started my day off with a cinnamon roll. And I love cinnamon rolls. They're one of my favorite foods. But not only that, the Walk On Army is strong. It's the holiday season. The second episode that we record today is going to be a holiday episode. We're going to talk Christmas. We're going to talk what the holidays looked like around Iowa football, how we dealt with that, holiday meals. We're going to take a couple questions from the Twitter. I'm thankful that Kevin is here on the podcast. Drake is here on the podcast because, that doesn't always happen.
It's facts. No. We've actually been slacking a little bit because I've just been creating such a busier life for myself than laying on the couch quarantined. So,
which I think is good for you.
Yeah.
Kevin, I want to. And Kevin, I want to say, just welcome back. And I hope, sometimes you kind of go dark. You're like Kevin Dark 30 over there. You have your own movie going on.
What do you mean?
Well, you know, Drake and I, we have a lot of conversation back and forth in the text message, and every once in a while, if something warrants your opinion or your answer, you throw it in there. But you really carry us in the citizenship. You know how it was always about football, school, and citizenship with KF. You really carry us
Sure.
in the citizenship department on the podcast, and we're just thankful for that because you're out. You're
Hey, someone's got to put a good face on the podcast.
Yeah,
that's absolutely correct. Somebody has to do it.
That's you. But yeah, we're here.
And I'm incapable, and I don't really think Kluver's like on the fence. Sometimes he likes to be a little to be a little edgy, but sometimes he likes to be politically correct. Mm-hmm. But Kev, you just kind of save the face for most of us,
Yeah.
Hey man, got to make my contribution.
Yeah, everyone's got their part. Know your role, play your role. I think that was something we learned in football or something.
Know your role, own your role, love your role.
Something like that. Yeah.
Something.
It would have been like Coach Wallace, like, you got to understand your fucking role on this team. All right. Kluver, you fucking snap the ball. That's all you fucking do. Don't act like you're a fucking athlete. All right, Coach. Sick. I'm going to go get another sandwich from the snack station. Okay, Iowa basketball. They played the number one team in the country. That started off a hot Saturday of sports. A lot going on.
Who is actually the number one team in the country, because those guys were freaking lights out.
Let me tell you.
I'll tell you what, man. That point guard that they got that was also the great football player.
Suggs?
He can get it.
Brother.
On either side of the court.
Here's the deal. Iowa, and I said it I did a little quick reaction of the Big Ten Championship, the Big 12 Championship, and the Iowa basketball game yesterday. It was about a 20-minute pod for the Patreon subscribers. Patreon.com/washedupwalkons. By the way, if you want to join the true walk-on army, shout out to y'all.
Shout out to the army.
I did. I said to the subs, I said, I don't think there's a whole lot to worry about here. And here's why.
I agree.
Here's why. We played the number one team in the country. Generally, when a team does that, that team should win the game, right? Because they're number one. That's the highest number in the rankings. And Iowa, there was some questions. Gonzaga hadn't played in a while. Were they going to be sluggish? Were they going to be rusty? They clearly weren't rusty because they came out looking like the Hawks behind the three-point line. All right. I have the statistics here. Iowa is normally, I think so far through 6 games, we're in the 40s, I think, on as far as 3-point shooting. We shot 18% yesterday. 4 3-pointers. The 2020 Iowa basketball team played a game and only made 4 3-pointers. That's it. That's not good.
Yeah, we're drawing
that's absolute number one team in the country like that.
We're drawing dead as a team against most teams if we only score like that.
That's what I'm saying, right? So now you look at that. So just on that stat alone, you look at the 99-88 final and you're like, well, holy shit. If we make a couple threes, we're in this ball game.
Absolutely. And there was places in time where we were either 9 of 10 missed field goals in a row or 10 of 11 missed field goals in a row. And obviously against a team who is ultra athletic and good on the offensive end themselves.
Athletic as hell.
You can't go 11 straight possessions empty-handed and think you're even the fact that they got it back late in the game to 11, or with not even late in the game, it was early in what would be considered the fourth period that they got it to.
I think we got it to 9.
Got it to a reasonable, to 9 with 7 minutes left or 6 minutes left or something. So for them to be able to get it to single digits after what the streaks they went on of just playing terrible basketball, turning it over, looking overwhelmed, looking like they didn't know what to do, shooting it like they had their eyes closed. Then they had streaks where they showed what the real Hawks were. So I'm really not worried about this team at all. And I think a whole lot more games where they can get their feet underneath them, get all that confidence back, they're going to be just fine.
Mm-hmm. 4 of 4. I mean,
man.
Yeah. Any other words on that, Kev? Any basketball analysis from Kevin Ward?
I'm not the basketball analysis guy, but it doesn't take a freaking genius to figure out, hey, you make 4 or 5 more 3-point shots and you're right in the game.
Yeah.
So yeah, they just weren't on shooting wise.
Here's what
an off night. I think they have an average shooting night and it's a good game.
Not even an average night. I'm going to go over a couple more numbers here. I gave this stat. So we shot 22 threes and made 4, right?
Yikes.
It's never on one person, right? It's never on one person. Jordan Bohannon had a bad game.
So did
CJ Frederick.
Okay, as long as we got that one.
You know who didn't have a bad game?
Luka Garza.
Luka, because he's the fucking best player on earth. Dude, he's the best player on earth. Anyone who wants to come at Luka or the Hawks and say that, they don't play anybody, Luka only scores against chumps, you can suck your thumb right back to your basement, because dude's got 30, 13 of 18.
He's just getting 30 and 10 every day, like it's just clockwork. When his alarm goes off at 6:30 and he gets 30 and 10.
Yeah.
And that just is insane.
He's a walking double-double against anyone in the country. Doesn't matter. Number 1 team in the country, doesn't matter. Timmy, that Timmy kid, he was dog shit. He has nothing on Luka Garza. Led the team in scoring. Obviously, he's going to basically every game. Wieskamp follows that with 20. Really good bench points from Nunji and Toussaint, right?
Dude, I'm a big Joe Toussaint fan. Listen, I wouldn't have said that last year because as a freshman, I thought he was a little bit underwhelming, like as far as like playing freshman go.
Just all around.
Like big minute freshman. I just thought he was a little underwhelming. This year, I would not say the same thing whatsoever.
Brody's our best defender.
Dude's quick as shit.
He's so fast.
He's aggressive.
I would love to see him play cornerback.
Oh my God. I think he'd be not only that, but Kevin, that's a really good point, because when you watch him play, the instinct, there's a little bit of athletic crossover there where he starts to see stuff a little bit like a defender would.
That's how that kid that played for Gonzaga had it, number 1.
And
he had those DB eyes, those instincts.
Yeah.
He was picking off outlets everywhere.
And let's talk about Gonzaga. So we're not only playing the best team in the country, but this team isn't known for shooting the 3-ball well. I think their percentage coming into the game was something like 26% on 3-point shots. Okay, well, this Suggs guy decides to go straight Michael Jordan. Okay, 7 of 10 on 3-pointers. And he's almost unstoppable off the bounce. Like if he slashes, if he drives on you, like he's so athletic. Made an incredible block on CJ, I believe, after he threw the ball away. He made up for a steal. He's really good. He guards at us. He guards at us. What Garza does to other people, he did yesterday to us. Right. And
it felt really bad.
Not only that,
but to be on the other end of that.
Oh, it sucks. Now we know what it's like for all the other teams that I was going to play this year. The Kispert guy, he's good. Timmy, he is a good big. This Ayayi guy, he's insane. I mean, they have a team. They have a squad. And they not only did that, but they shot 50% from 3. They were 1 out of 2 on 3-pointers, 13 of 26. Both teams shot like shit from the free throw line. 58% for Gonzaga, 54% for Iowa. Just give us 2 more 3-balls that go in and half of the free throws that we missed, and we win the game on points. Like we missed 12 free throws. Give us 6 of those and let 2 of J-Bo's 3s fall, and we win 100-99. Now I know it doesn't work like that, but points to points, that's what it looks like. I mean, we're so close.
Playing bad.
Close,
playing bad.
So I think there's a lot to be excited about. I don't think the Hawks will fall really too far at all in the rankings. And I let's see if I can bring up the Hawks schedule here. The next few games for us are, we start Big Ten play. So we're going to play Purdue, which isn't going to be a joke. Purdue at home, at Minnesota, Northwestern, Rutgers, Maryland. So we start going through the Big Ten lineup here. Which obviously Michigan State, Wisconsin, and Illinois are going to be the real tests there. But Iowa basketball, man, it's a hell of a year. It's going to be fun to watch when March comes. I just hope that everything goes according to plan and this COVID shit doesn't shut anything down. Any more thoughts on the basketball game before we move on to some championship Saturday football?
Go to football.
So actually, Friday started off the championships in a really weird fashion. The Pac-12 North champion Washington couldn't play. So Oregon got slotted in, and then they ended up beating USC. So Oregon's the Pac-12 champion.
They weren't the Pac-12 North champion, but they're the Pac-12 champion.
Correct. Yeah, they didn't win their division, but they won the whole goddamn conference. Makes a lot of sense.
USC just continues to get embarrassed. Just as many times as they can get embarrassed, they're getting embarrassed.
Yeah, starting with the Hawks last year. Love to see it.
We're starting way before that.
True. Kind of after Reggie Bush left. When they figured out
that they were. Talk about the ultimate asterisk next to a conference championship.
I know, right? Like that. It's like, well, I mean, we got the fill-in spot and then we won the conference. Oh, okay.
But then they get the ring.
So that happened Friday. We wake up yesterday. The Iowa game's going on. Early slot. We've got Northwestern and Ohio State in the Big Ten championship, and we have Oklahoma and Iowa State.
Let's not go any further than the Big Ten championship. And let me say that Iowa would have beat that Ohio State team 8 out of 10 times.
Man, at 8 out of 10, I don't know, but you're on.
Justin Fields was 11 for 27
Let me pull
with 112 yards or something like that and 2 interceptions. Look at Justin Fields' stat line.
He was a QBR of 34. Wow.
If Justin Fields has a QBR of 34 and they think that they're going to beat us with their run game, which is underwhelming, they're ridiculously wrong. They're crazy.
Let's.
I mean, they had a guy run for 300 yards. So
331 and 2 touchdowns.
Listen,
but
they're not running like that on the Hawks.
I agree. They're not. I don't think they put up. Late in the game, they're like, this guy has just surpassed 300 yards. And I'm like, holy shit! Like, now there was a lot of chunk plays that added to that. Like,
Dude, I watched Patty Fisher miss so many tackles. I would have bumped him out of the Big Ten. I don't care where he's at on the Big Ten list. That Big Ten championship game, bro, move him down.
It was a really. So what you saw in the first half was this game where it was like, it's like Northwestern. They're just giving everything they have, every ounce of energy and hype and juice that they can bring. They're bringing it because that's how you go head to head with a team that has this much talent, right? Granted, Ohio State was missing like 20 players. Okay. Top receiver was out. I'm pretty sure their top linebacker was out. So there's a few asterisks there, but nonetheless, you're playing the football game. You got to go try and win the ball game. You're right, Drake. Justin Fields, 12 of 27 for 114 yards and 2 picks. That might be. That's like,
dude, we beat an Ohio State team that can only do one thing. Phil Parker can beat any offense that can only do one thing.
It'll be interesting to see what Ohio State does. I mean, they're probably going to be in the playoff here, but they've played 2 solid teams in Indiana and Northwestern, and Fields has struggled heavily in both those.
Heavily. Kevin, you're right on it, because I don't think, and it's sad to say, but I don't think they deserve to be in the top 4 teams.
They don't win a playoff game. I don't think they have any chance.
If they're the 4 seed, or they're going to be they're going to be the 3 seed.
It's probably going to be them and Clemson again.
It's going to be, and they're going to get absolutely rocked. Dude,
yeah, they're going to get dog stomped.
Lawrence is going to, Clemson's going to make the Big Ten look like the fucking D3. That's what I'm worried about, because I just don't think Ohio State has it this year. And
I don't either.
And then let's go to Clemson now. They just made, and I knew this was going to happen. You bring Lawrence back. You got that fire, a little redemption.
It's hard to beat a team twice.
Hard to beat a team twice. And Clemson goes out and just handles Notre Dame. Not even a game. So what does the college football playoff look like now? Because going into yesterday, it's Alabama, Notre Dame, Clemson, Ohio State. Those are the top 4 teams. Notre Dame's definitely not in the playoff now.
Neither is Florida.
And neither is Florida because Florida's got 3 losses. Okay. Alabama, granted, I didn't watch the game, but it was a great game last night. Did either of you watch that?
I caught most of it.
What do you think there?
Do we dismiss Notre Dame just like that? Because
you kind of have
their
to.
one loss is to a team that they've beaten, who's in the college football playoff.
I understand what you're saying there. I just have to counter argue with, after what we saw yesterday, do you think that they can make enough of a game plan change to make it a contest?
I think whoever is number 4 is going to get. Yeah, no. I think whoever's number 4 is going to get their ass beat by Alabama regardless.
True. It's so tough. This is a weird year, man. Okay, because here's what happened. But
I guess it has to be Notre Dame, doesn't it? Who else is going to be number 4?
It doesn't have to be Notre Dame. It could be A&M. I think I would like to see Cincy get a chance.
I would love to see Cincy get a chance because here's what we're looking at. Alabama, they beat Florida in kind of a shootout last night, right? So number 1 wins. Notre Dame, number 2, gets stomped by number 3 Clemson. Okay, so Clemson's going to be the number 2 seed. Ohio State wins their game. Again, we just talked about that. They're probably going to get the 3. So it's going to be Alabama, Clemson, Ohio State. And so now you're looking at, okay, does Notre Dame fall from 2 to 4? You're right. I mean, maybe it is them. Texas A&M, it's not going to be them because.
I mean, no, A&M's only loss is to Bama. They beat Florida. They've got some impressive things.
I guess maybe it is Texas A&M. Iowa State had a chance, man. If Iowa State wins the game, they're probably in the playoff.
Listen, man, if they just don't choke it away, they had a chance.
Dude, if they can win that game against Oklahoma, maybe they'd have to do it a little bit more convincingly than how close the game was. And it really wasn't close for a while until the second half. I think Iowa State has a legit chance if they could come out with like a 10-point win against Oklahoma there. I think maybe they're like, screw it. We'll throw the Big 12 champion, 2 losses. I don't know.
A 2-loss team, two losses versus a Louisiana team who's a solid team and a solid Oklahoma State team. I don't know.
Throw the Hawks in there. Just put the Hawks in at number 4, huh? Fuck it.
Hey, if we don't lose to Northwestern, we beat Ohio State in the Big Ten championship.
We're the hottest, bro. Yeah, we're the hottest.
Imagine we're instead of 6-2, we're sitting at 8-1. 8-1.
We're the Big Ten championship.
8-1 Big Ten champion. Slide in the 4 spot.
It's a lot of ifs, ands, or buts, but
we're playing Bama. Do we want Bama? Always a question, right?
Yeah, it would have just been like 2015 if we beat Michigan State. We'd probably just, we'll call it a season.
The lamb to slaughter that year.
Hey, man. Hey,
I would want to go out there and get tattooed just to know what it felt like. Just to have said I got tattooed by those monsters.
Bro, here's my theory. I think if we win that game versus Michigan State, and this is all hypothetical, we'll never know, maybe in another universe somewhere. I think we go and we make a game out of Bama.
Stop it.
I think we go and we
Did you see what Christian Cavalry did to us? Did you really want Derrick Henry? You saw what happened if we had McCaffrey. Did you really want Derrick Henry?
Bro.
I think we would have been better suited versus Derrick Henry than
I do too.
McCaffrey.
I do too.
But I don't think it would have been I honestly don't think it would have been that close a game. They beat the dog out of Michigan State.
They had Kevin Hogan, dude. Bro. They had Kevin Hogan, and the Bama had Jalen Hurts.
I don't care. Give us Bama. Give me Bama, man. All right. Well, it's going to be interesting. I think Barta's on the committee or something. So, they got to decide. They basically have to decide, well, Notre Dame, basically you got a preview of the game. Are we just going to put them back in at 4? Do we just throw a second SEC? I think it's between Notre Dame, Texas A&M, and maybe Cincinnati, Kev.
Yeah, like I said, I would like to see an undefeated American League champion get a chance because I think they had to win a little more style points yesterday to get a good look. I don't think they'll get in.
Yeah.
But I would like to see it because they rolled most of the teams they played this year.
And it would be like, I mean, fuck it, right? Give them a chance. Hey, they want their shot on the big stage. Come to play.
Hey, yeah. Hey, Notre Dame's probably gonna get their shit rocked by Alabama anyway. Might as well throw Cynthia a bone. I don't know.
I would love to see it. Just
give
him a shot.
But is that getting thrown a bone? Is that getting thrown a bone?
You might be. No, I think Cincinnati probably ends up being the bone that's thrown in that situation. Yeah. Or maybe they
over the fence in the sandlot.
Yeah, into that dog's like house where there's a bunch of growling noises there. Yeah. I don't know. It's a 3-team race, right? It's Alabama, Clemson, and
it's a 2-team race.
It's a 2-team race. It's Alabama and Clemson. It's who's gonna win.
Oh my God, shocker!
Yeah, another year. Before.
I mean, what do you do, right? What do you do? Quick thoughts before we go on this podcast. What are your guys' thoughts on? I know we've talked about expanding, right? What updated thoughts? Do you guys still think the same? Should it be 8? Should it be 12? I don't know. I keep hearing. I keep
still
listening.
In on 8.
You like 8? See,
I'm still in on 8. All the conference champions get in. A couple at large. You know, it's small enough so that the regular season still has a whole lot of value, but bigger enough to get rid of some of these question marks. You know,
does expanding the playoff to 8 or even 12 or 16, then if you don't make the playoff, is the postseason just worthless? Does anybody below 12 or 16, if that's the case, give a shit? Yeah, like, is there any merit to that? I mean, I think there is. Players still want to play for something.
Yeah, but I mean, would it be any different than it is now?
Yeah, you're right. I mean,
would it make the Outback Bowl any less, of a significant game than it is now? I don't think so. I don't know.
Speaking of bowl games,
the players still want to win. The players still want to go.
Yeah, you're right.
I think the fans still have fun times. Like,
yeah, you're right.
It's still fun to see conferences match up against each other. So, nah.
I agree. Speaking of bowl games, I saw a couple of the beat writers on Twitter before we hit play. They were talking about bowl game possibilities. Lysico from the Des Moines Register seems to think that with what happened yesterday, Indiana gets the citrus, meaning Northwestern gets Outback, and that leaves the Hawks to either the Duke's Mayo Bowl in Charlotte or Nashville, Music City.
Dog, if we go to the mayonnaise bowl, dude, I'm not a Hawk fan. If we go to the mayonnaise bowl, I'm done. I quit.
First of all,
what are the gifts from the mayonnaise bowl?
Dude, you get gallons of mayo, bro. You get a bathtub of mayonnaise. That's all you get, bro. That's your gift package. You either get the little.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, I'll actually be upset if we go to Nashville this year during the fucking pandemic that we can't go and just absolutely rage the whole week before the game.
Yeah, because going to Nashville, so it sounds like wherever
I mean, Iowa fans have been wanting to go to Nashville for forever. And
yeah,
if it would be this year, it'd be kind of like that kind of sucks.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. The Duke's fucking Mayo Bowl. How did they beat out?
Dude, I can't. I'm done at that point. Put the podcast off, bro. I'm not going to the Mayo Bowl.
How did they beat out Hellman's, man? Dude, Hellman's versus Duke's a huge big Mayo matchup? I don't know.
Do you remember when KF was like, "We're not going to Detroit"?
Yeah.
Listen, we're not fucking going to.
He said we'd bust there the day of.
But you bust there the night before, just like a normal away game, and we'll leave right after the game.
Unbelievable.
At this point, if it's the Mayo Bowl, just KF say we decline.
Unbelievable, dude. I mean, I can't believe it. The Duke's Mayo Bowl. That's how we leave this one off. Episode 173. Go put some mayonnaise on your sandwich.
Go to the bowl and get splooged on in a bathtub.
Yeah, I mean, it's the Mayo Bowl. Come on now. We gotta sponsor a bowl game. That's it. Wash Up Walkons 173. As always, Hawks by 1,000,000.
Listen to this, Tyler. Before we cut this one off, we'll leave them with this. We were 1 point away from beating Ohio State in the Big Ten championship and going to the playoff, and now we're looking at the Mayonnaise Bowl.
let that marinate. Let that marinate on you, Hawk fans. We'll talk to you Thursday for our Christmas episode. Peace.